Mr. Vijay Shah, who is managing partner for Mrs. India Precast. So Vijay Shah is a mechanical engineer by profession and has more than 42 years industry experience. And from last 12 years, his experience in pre-stress, precast concrete industry as a consultant, supplier, and manufacturer. And to give necessary support for setting up complete precast plant and machinery, supporting equipment and accessories to produce load-bearing walls, filigree half slab, load-bearing hollow core plants, non-load-bearing lightweight hollow core wall panels used for partition walls, and so on. The list goes on. They also have manufacturing set up at Wagholi for many of the precast products. So today the topic for his presentation will be techno-commercial evaluation of precast partition wall system using lightweight hollow core pre-stressed panels. So we have with us Mr. Vijay Shah. Over to you, sir.
I myself is Vijay Shah from India Precast. Basically, we are solution equipment suppliers for precast industries. But from last 4 years, we are also manufacturing boundary wall panels and columns and also wall panels. We have got one factory in Panvel and another factory in Pune in Wagholi. So today I'm going to speak to you about the wall panels. These wall panels are going to be hollow core wall panels, and it has been reinforced with the wire in it. So it is not pre-stressed to that level, but there is a reinforcement in the wire. So this is a lightweight hollow core wall panel. So when we say lightweight, there are two types of things what we can do. One is we can do it with leca, but leca is very costly. So in India or in most of the places, they are doing lightweight only by the hollow core or the cores in the panel. So that is how it is been manufactured. You can say worldwide these days, people are using these hollow core wall panels. Secondly, this is just a non-structural wall panel. It is not a load-bearing wall panel. So till certain length, you can put a load, but not beyond that. So that is the second part of it. This is mainly used for low-cost housing, affordable housing, and other things, and even for the row houses and all that. Plus, in production, when you are doing the production of your building, parallelly you can start production of the wall panels at the factory level, and the same can be used immediately once one floor is over. You can go on loading the panels for the partition of that floor on the floor. This plant what we are using is a semi-automatic one, which can even be installed at the production site if the quantity is good enough. So that you can save on a lot of other things. And we extrude the wall panel on the concrete road so that what you have made for the society or for the whole project on that same road, if the level and everything is maintained well, you can extrude the panels there and use there and there itself. So I would say the plant is also a type of a mobile one. Okay. So here what is the advantage of the wall panel is you require very minimum skilled labor compared to if you are doing with your AAC block or hollow blocks and all other. Thirdly, the erection is little easier because it is become little light compared to the other things. The moisture, yeah, this is the very important part because it is made of M35 grade of concrete. So it is very good at moisture resistance. So these panels are ideally used for kitchen or for bathroom, toilets and all other things because where the wet areas are there you can use this very nicely. Yeah, these panels are easily, you can saw it, cut it, bore it, drill it, fit it, all that you can do it with this. And okay, when we are extruding this panel, if the concrete floor is very well leveled and if you get the proper panel quality, then only 2 to 3 mm wall putty is required to finish the panel before painting. So this is the partition wall, what you can construct with these panels. And there are tongue and groove in this, which will be interlocking the panels. And between the tongue and groove, we will be putting the grout. And again, we have got another step in it, I'll explain you further. So basically what we want to say is that these panels replaces all the AAC, CLC, hollow blocks, bricks and other thing. As far as the load is concerned of the panel compared to the AAC block, yeah, just comparing individually, AAC block may be lighter, but comparing AAC with your 15 mm gypsum on both the side, you will come to know that this panel is equally in the same weight level compared to the AAC. Because people have got the notion that AAC is lighter and our structure and everything is designed according to AAC. So we will not able to use this wall panel. But it is not so. I would say when you consider it completely, then you come to know where it stands. So we also have introduced here in this wall panel 4 to 8 mm of wires, 4 to 8 numbers of wire in the wall panel. So with the help of this wire, the advantage is when you are transporting it or when you are handling it or when other means like if there is an earthquake or anything, this wire or things will hold the concrete into the position. So that is another advantage. Though it is, we call it reinforced, we do pre-stressing, but not to the level what other pre-stressings are done. So as I told you, the interlocking is done by tongue and groove. And because of this hollow cores, it has become light in weight. So this is the typical arrangement where we have got a step in the panel at the end. Means both the ends we have got a step of about 5 mm by 30 mm. So when we are locking this into a tongue and groove, then we already put a grout between the tongue and groove. After that, once the wall is built, after the thing it is dry, we put the wire mesh between the two grooves and then we put the grout. So this helps to further prevent the hairline crack what people feel that it may come in a due course of time. So there is another advantage what we are taking by extruding in a semi-automatic plant. And we are getting the groove, the step grooves on both the side of the panel. So that is means both the side you seal it with wire mesh and the grout. So that will help us to make a proper homogeneous structure. So because the level or the flatness of the panel is very good, so only 2 to 3 mm scheme coat is required of a wall putty. There is no need of any gypsum POP or anything in the same. So we save a lot of cost on the plaster, time on the plaster and other thing. So here I wanted to show the step in the panel, what we are achieving at both the ends of the panel. And we are showing here the tongue and groove in which way the panels are locked to each other while installing it. So another advantage is because it's a concrete M35 grade of panel, you can use tile or marble or granite directly on the panel. There is no need of doing any plastering or anything on the wall panel before you want to introduce, means you want to place the tiles and all that. And just 2 to 3 mm skim coat is enough for the finishing the panel. So when the height is more, usually there are different sizes of wall panel. They come in the size of 75 mm, 100 mm, 120 mm, 150 mm. But because our machine is you can say semi-automatic, we can also make the design according to your thickness or according to the municipal requirement of that area that they want a thickness of 140, 160. So we can do the design of machine accordingly and any other size also we can manufacture. But for that we require 2 months to manufacture the machine and 1 month to import the same. And okay, here what I want to show is when the height in the commercial building is much more than 3 meters or beyond 3 meters or say so, then we can put one on one. Either we can put one on one panel or with a staggered pitch, we can put one on one panel. So for 75 mm thickness, the panel can be about 3 meter or so. But if it is about 120 millimeter thickness, then we can go up till 4.2 meters height. But anything above that, then we can add another 1 meter, 1.5 meter or so above that. And if required, we can put a steel girders in between also. And after every 5 to 6 panels, Also, if you want, we can put steel girder if there are different types of vibration or load or anything coming on the panels or the structure. So about it can take about 300 to 800 kgs of load depending upon the thickness of the panel being used. So here we want to show is as compared to AAC block, the being M35 grade concrete panel, this is very strong for the purpose what we are doing. So here we want to say here the speed of installation is very high compared to brick and AAC block. Say for example, if you are doing a 14-story building and if there is about 112 flats in it, so if you require say about 10,000 square meters of wall, then if you do it with the brick, it will take about 100 days. And if you do it with the ASC block, it may take 40 days. But with the wall panel, we can just finish it within 20 days. So that is the advantage. Plus, these panels are a dry panel. So at site when you install it, so you can do the scheme coat and immediately start doing the painting and all that. So that is again another advantage of it. Here we want to say is the when the panel is turned horizontally, we can also make it for using for developing lintel or door frames with the same panel. So you have to cut according to that the panel and tilt it to the horizontal requirement. So doors, windows, all that can be done with the same panel in the same thickness, and there is no need of any lintel and other things. Okay, thus being this hollow, we can introduce all the MEP into the hollow cores of the wall panel. So be it a electrical thing or a big plumbing, all that can be done in it. And we can also get a very good Wi-Fi because of this hollowness. So if there is between, if the Wi-Fi system is installed in the office, the with the hollow panel, you can get a very good Wi-Fi also, which is one of the requirement these days. Okay, so the international standard for these wall panels are 600 width. The width is throughout, whether it is any thickness, the width will remain 600 only. And thickness can vary from, as I told you, 75, even 90 sometimes is available, 100, 120, 140, 150. But most commonly used is 75 thickness, and second is 100 thickness. We are doing one job here and we have set up a factory in Pune, and we are going to execute 25 lakh square feet of partition wall panel for Billy Moria. We already supplied some quantities to them, and we are now after lockdown we will be starting again say in the January the factory, and we have to complete the order of 25 lakh square feet in four years. So they have adopted this technology of wall panel. They are doing MPMC project in Logao. So for that, we have set up a factory here exclusively for them. We are doing some marketing also. Okay, these are the cross sections of the various thickness of the wall panel. So there are about 35 to 40% void in it. So it is light by that much weight comparatively. So if the density what we are using is 2,400 kg per meter square, ultimately what we will get about 1,800 or so the density at the later level. So there are four sizes what we are showing, the core and all that. This most of the things are all available on our website also. So, but we will be sharing the PPT with ICICI, and they will be giving it to all the delegates and the participants. Okay, here we are comparing our wall panel with concrete block, AAC block, and other bricks and panel board like available in the market, that is Everest panel board or maybe a aircon panel boards and other things. So as far as the strength is concerned, this wall panel being M35 grade, very high compared to concrete wall, okay, medium compared to the AAC, and brick is high, but the thickness and the weight and the things is very, very high. But these days, I don't think so much people are using red bricks in the market. Okay, moisture resistance, as I told you before, it is very high because of M35 grade of concrete compared to others. Sound insulation, yeah, because of this hollow, the sound insulation is very good compared to other things. AAC is also having a good sound insulation, but we have got still better sound insulation compared to that. Now fire resistance, average for 75 mm, it is about 60 to 80 minutes. For 120 mm thickness, the fire rating is about 2 hours and more. Regarding installation speed, as I told you, it is twice the AAC block and 5 times the speed of compared to the brick and all that. Electrical installation, as I told you, in the course we can do, which is very easy compared to other thing where you have to do lot of jerry work. And in case of AAC, many times when you do jerry work or when you try to put electrical board and all that, we get the crack on the other side. Whereas this, in these types of panel, that problem is not there. I'll explain you more detail when I come in further slides. Thickness, as I told you, plaster required is only scheme coat as compared to other things. Okay, this is a comparison of wall panel in terms of speed, this quantity of work day done, compressive strength, water absorption, thermal conductivity. And all. So when we say quantity of work done per day, as I told you, it is twice the AC and 5 times the brick. And compressive strength for 75 mm is 25 kilonewtons per meter square. And for other thing, it is up to 40 to 50 kilonewtons per meter square. Water absorption, very less. So as I told you, it is very ideal for wet areas, especially toilet and kitchen and all that. Thermal conductivity is also very high because of the hollow core into it. Fire rating, as I told you, thickness of mortar, I told you, lintel, I told you. Now, comparison of wall panel with other wall panel, anchors and all that. So, it is like a normal other things. Whatever anchoring you want to do, you can do in this compared to AAC and other things. Electrical wiring, I told you, wastage of one. So, all these are covered. I'm just putting it again and again. Okay. So here what we say is when it is considering labor, there is a saving of 80%. Compared to weight, there is a saving of 40% because of void. As far as the saving in the foam work and all that, we consider it 20%. And speed wise, we consider it 5 times faster compared to bricks. But otherwise, it is twice the fast than AAC block installation. Zero cost of plastering we are considering because we are just putting a scheme coat on it. Large cover area because it's a one panel when you install. The area covered with one panel compared to small bricks and blocks, it takes a lot of time. So this is covering at a very faster speed as far as the area is concerned. Factory finished product, again, it's an advantage. Eliminates vertical cutting because of the hollow core into it and clear job site. Because here you only need to take up only some grout on the top of the every floor or and the only the skim coat that is 2 to 3 mm plastering material. So as I told you the advantage, one is this is a dry wall. Second, door window frames can be made with the wall frame, wall panel itself. Then being a thin structure like 75 mm only thickness with 2 mm skim coat, the carpet area of that particular flat increases by more than 6% to 7%. So that is again another advantage in it. So as compared to the AC block or a brick and all that. The number of joints are also less because the larger area covered by the panel, only the vertical joints is the thing. Installed cost. When we say install cost, I'll come more in more detail in the next slide. It is competitive with AAC block, but how it is, how much it is, commercial evaluation, I'm doing at a later stage. And as I told you, clean site because very minimal material is to be taken to various floors for assembling it. And thirdly is the panels are recyclable, but not in a ordinary way. We can give it to the crusher people or a lot of other things because the structure is so good enough that you can grind it. or we are also supplying some grinders if people wants to grind it and use it for other requirement, and you can do that also. So we call it as a green construction or a concrete. So these are the same benefits what I am talking again: lightweight, strong, saves time, this homogeneous, sound insulation, eco-friendly, and all that. So application of this wall panel, I think it is used nearly in most of the structures or anything or to everything. Like it is more good, I mean, it is very good for the affordable housing and mass housing and other things, high-rise building and other things also. So this is, as I told you, mainly used for partition wall. So as I told you, it can go up till a height of 4.2 meter single piece if the thickness is about 120, and if the thickness is about 3 meter, the height is 3 meter, then 75 can take it. Okay, these panels are also can be used for the external wall, and the advantage what we are getting here compared to the brick and brick, that you can see it very well, only external wall need to be plastered at least 12 to 15 whatever is the standard required according to the area. Okay. The advantage again, when there is a contour and all that, you can also use the wall panel being 600 You can go on getting the contour of the building or anything. Even for the high rise building, you can see. So here we need to have a tower crane. So we can lift the panels at every floor and keep it. So that tower crane is very important for this wall panel. Otherwise, up to 4 story, you can handle it with hydra and all that. But above that, we need a tower crane. So we have to make sure that tower crane is there in the project. Then only you can supply the panel. We can also use the mast lift working platform or gondola for plastering the external surface and other things. Yeah, one more thing I would like to say, if you want to have very good sound insulation, we can use a sandwich panel also, 2 panels at the external wall, so that we will not get the any leakage or anything, as we are doing in other civil work also. So that is another advantage. Okay, this is a cold storage building made in Lucknow with the same panel. It's a 6 story building, and it is sandwiched between, there are 2 panels. So beam column, everything is precast. So they are installing beam column. Then from inside and outside, we are putting wall panels. As I told you that we can do sandwich. So the air gap further gives the insulation, plus the hollow core also gives insulation. So it is a very good material for cold storage and all that. So this is how the external building also sometimes you can finish it. And here you see the panels are used in a staggered pitch so that we don't get fall of the panels when we are installing it one above the other. So it is also very ideal for using it in a PEB shade or a steel structure where the panels, while installing, the installing cost goes down drastically because we can do just a welding little bit to the steel this and hold the panel. So, and also we can use this panel for the mezzanine floor, provided sufficient ribs and all that is given below in the structure. This is a showroom made by in a steel structure for the and using the panel. Again, very good advantage for making warehousing and all that, or for industrial factories, because here you are also getting a sound insulation being hollow in structure. So good for warehousing, PEB shed, or any industrial factory and other things. So this is again for the warehousing, one of this we have shown. Okay, here we also have got you can see the V knots at the top and the bottom. To hold this, we have got a starter bar, and then we fill it with the concrete. So that will hold, apart from tongue and groove, the panels will be holding in that. I'll explain you more on the installation side. So, okay, another good advantage is for the boundary walls. This wall panel was considered for Nagpur Mumbai expressway. Initially, design was that only, but because some other, means all the 14 people who were bidders and who took the order, they were not well versed with this thing. So then it was changed to a solid one. But using this panel, they will not have to put sound barriers at certain places where otherwise they have to put sound barriers too. And being light, easy to handle and do the work there. So these days, for a railway project, high speed bullet train project, they are again considering this wall panel. So very good for boundary wall, and you can make it vertical, also install it vertically. So in advantage is nobody can climb and cross the boundary. Okay, I am showing one video. I am thankful to Elomatic because I am sharing their video on the site. This is for the row house built in Malaysia with this wall panel.
Acotech Sindrenbahat, a member of the OSK Group. In line with Acotech's vision to create a greener and more sustainable construction methodology, the AcoBuilt, a sole proprietary building system that has been specifically designed for the construction of single-story houses. With the AcoBuilt system, conventional RC columns are not required, lesser formwork and in-situ concrete casting. Hence, manpower is greatly reduced and productivity is significantly increased with flush-speed Acotech installation. RC to form the reinforced concrete slab. Starter bars that are required at certain areas bars are installed manually at specified intervals on the RC slab. Tensile and flexural strengths. AcoFix should be mixed with clean water to the recommended ratio for best results. The use of a for the AcoBuilt system, always start the panel installation at a T-joint or L-joint to ensure better stability when the panels are installed. Once the Acotech panel is transported to the installation area, AcoFix should be applied to the floor slab before placing the panel. The AcoFix will ensure a strong bonding between the Acotech panels and the RC slab. Erect the panel in a smooth and uninterrupted manner. While the erected panel is held in place, adjustments should be made to align it to the marked lines. The erected panels must be temporarily secured in position with wooden wedges, while the verticality of the panels must be where the joints are fully filled. Similar to the first panels of Acotech panels is door lintels. Simply cut out recesses of the adjacent panel for the AcoBuilt door lintel to rest on. It is simple and neat, one with a concrete cutter. By using the hollow cores of the Acotech wall panels, less cutting and patchback is required from the ceiling and roof truss. Lastly, a capping beam is cast on top of the erected panels with minimal formwork and reinforcement linkage to form a solid and stable wall. Fiber netting is recommended to lay at the joints. Work. It involves less wastage, cleaner site conditions, and also suitable for receiving direct tiling on the panel surface. It is the perfect Acotech, creating the ideal future. Start today.
So here we are showing that it is very good for row houses and other thing, for bungalows, row houses and other thing. Okay. Here we are using it for even chemical factories where the height is very good, say about 15 to 20 meters. So this wall panel can be taken up by lifting system and you can install it where you cannot do certain brickwork and other thing. Other uses for toilet block, gutter, trench and all the things. This is also good for labor colony or for the supervisor colony or for these days for COVID wards and other utilities. So plumbing and electrical, even if you do the jerry work from the face of it, if you're not able to, because vertically you can put the pipe, horizontally you can just cut it off and then you use a concrete mortar and fill it completely. So it will be strong enough for holding in the partition. So this is what I was trying to show you, that for electrical application, when you want to put the box, electrical box into it, only you have to make sure that the back wall we are not cutting it out comparatively. If the load is good, then you can just do this and install the electrical equipment also. So these are the installation equipment used for installing the wall panel. So if you can lift it manually, if not, then the hydraulic wagon is supplied by us to do that. So here we are just showing it how it is been locked, and there is a element, steel element in a U shape, which is uh, put into the core, and then that is been uh, anchored to the ceiling or floor. So that will hold the panel. So even if there is an earthquake, the wall will not fall. It will only shake and be in the position. So that is what the arrestor or fixing plate we are trying to show in a blue color. Okay, anyway, thanks a lot. And more details you can see on our website, indiaprecast.com. And we'll be sharing also the presentation with the ICI. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
So any questions?
My name is SB Kulkarni. I am a technical consultant from Mumbai. I want to know what is the joint treatment you provide, when these two panels are connected and then external plaster, etc. is okay. But then, external walls are definitely susceptible to kind of a leakage and seepage, etc. So what is the
There is a tongue and
joint
groove
treatment?
provided.
No, tongue and groove is okay, but any other special,
Other than
treatment you
that,
are
we have a
providing?
recession in the panel, and both the side we put a wire mesh and a grout. So again, that holds it further. So the leakage is stopped from the both the side, not only from tongue and groove, also by
Bottom joint.
bottom we have to just put a concrete motor. And if you want a very good sound insulation, then you can use PU foam at the top, or you can put the concrete motor only. And usually what happens at the bottom, after installing the panel, we are doing our tiling work or any other things comes that. So it will hold the panel further up. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have one question. You are using this in cast in situ construction, and primarily, I believe you are getting cost savings because you are eliminating plaster.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is in cast in situ construction, beams are always not aligned geometrically. Either they're out of plumb or walls are not aligned straight. So normally, when you do brick and mortar construction, you're adjusting the wall to the beam levels.
Okay.
So how do you manage that? This is
In
first question.
in that situation, you will have to do some gypsum work or other thing, and then make it aligned to the beam and column.
Second question is that you claimed about sound insulation. Now, if your hollow cores are not continuous,
Yeah.
how will you get sound insulation in a single panel? I can understand in the sandwich panel
Yeah.
because you are having continuous concrete, no?
Yeah.
So how will you get sound insulation?
So if you want a very good sound insulation, this hollow cores, you can fill it further with other material like leca is there, or you can say that I forgot the technical name, khujli jo hota hai. You can fill it with it and you get further sound insulation. If you don't want to do the double sandwich panel and all that.
No,
So when you
even
are erecting it vertically like this, put the total other material of sound insulation, or you can put even thermocol. So you can get additional sound insulation.
but you will get sound insulation only if the air column is continuous. If you are only filling the hollow core, the sound will travel through the concrete, which is continuous.
Yeah. So here we only claim sound insulation till 40 dB, not above that. So if you are looking for anything above that, then you have to do additional sound insulation by the way other things like in auditorium and all that is done.
And you claimed in your, I saw that the water absorption is less than 14% was
Yeah.
the figure.
Yeah.
But if you are having M35 grade concrete, why should you have 14%? It should be much lower than that. No?
It should be, but we don't want to go into an argument with the people. Usually it is 4 to 5%. But this is a debatable question. So if the structure is not that homogeneous, if the production is not done to that good quality, and if there is a porosity, then there are issues of water absorption. So when you take a test, different time, different result will come. So to be safer side, we are saying 14, less than 14%.
Okay.
You are
Thank
absolutely right what you said.
Thank you.
So, do you have any cost comparison with this?
As far as the cost is concerned, both are coming to the same thing. AAC wall, if you make it with both the side gypsum and compared to wall panel with 2 scheme code. It is like AAC wall will cost you about 128 rupees per square feet, and the wall panel will cost you about 130 rupees per square feet. If you want, I'll run that slide. So we are taking a 100 square meter area. So for 100 square meter, 55 panels are required, and the number of blocks required is 654. So if we consider the cost of AAC block at 3,500 rupees per cubic meter, and wall panel we are for the 75 thickness, we are considering 80 rupees per square feet. And then we are adding the cost of installation and grout, and we are here adding the cost of gypsum used in it. And the same way, we are considering the total other cost used. Next slide. Other cost is like being extruded finish, we have to put scheme coat. Here we are putting 12 to 15 gypsum. So the cost of that is taken. And then if you do total, this comes to about 130 rupees. That comes to 128. And here we are not still considering the cost for MEP done. If you have to do MEP in your AAC blocks and all that, that will be more costlier compared to the wall panel, and also for making the lintel doors and all that. If you have to make it in AAC block, it will be very costly compared to the wall panel. So if you look at the advantages are very high as compared to AAC. So though we may be little costly, but the advantage is very high as compared to it.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Sorry to
He
say
wanted
that
to
we
ask
have
this.
constructed a building of 2,500 square feet with using the Acotech panels.
Yeah.
So what went wrong over there is the mold face was very fine. It was when we erected this, those are proper in line. But when it comes to the interior one, we ended up doing the plastering for to the inside to get the alignment.
See, it depends upon the installer. Most of the time, the builders and developers want to save their cost. So they don't want to hire the professional installers and all that.
No,
But
we have given to the manufacturer who did, and then the same Acotech
maybe
supplied by the
for
Elmatic.
I don't miss I do agree for some wall maybe, but it cannot be a case because world over people are using only these types of wall panel. They are not using AAC and all that comparatively. So if this was a complaint, it would have not been used in the market. And we have backed the order of 25 lakh square feet partition wall to be done for Billy Moria.
Yeah, great. And one final question from my end is, we have fixed the interior somewhere around 2 years back.
Yeah.
So what is happening now is that is because of the weight, the panels are not taking, I don't know, the cabinets are coming down slowly.
But on the this panel, Ecotech panel,
Yes, on the architect panels only. I'm telling.
but the weight limitations are there. Now, while installing, what happens if your weight is very high? What we do is that core, we fill when we know what is the furniture and all that. So we fill the full core with the concrete, and then we install the anchorage and fittings and all that. So if we know that certain places where the weight is going to be very high, we fill that much totally. So that is not a big cost comparatively.
Yeah,
And
those panels without strands.
but strand is, I would not say strand is everything, but strand supports it further. So it is not that because if there is a strand, then it will take more load. I'm sorry, please don't have
Yeah,
that
I got it.
concept.
Your
And I
strands are
don't want
exclusively
to
for the
do,
transportation.
I don't want to
Normally
do
we provide.
negative marketing or anything against Alemmatic and all that. Because their only higher version of their project means the plant, you get a strand in it. Otherwise, normally they supply without strand. But in
Yes.
our case, we supply from the base because it is possible for us to do that. It's a semi-automatic process, and there is a total automatic process. But only thing is, if you feel that at certain place, like we are going to put a toilet block on the panel, and we know that it will be a very good load. So what we do from the top itself, we fill that whole core with the concrete to that level where we are going to fix the toilet. Now installation I have not explained because my time is a limitation. But all these questions, any day, any time, you can uh, call me up, I'll answer you.
Okay.
Thank you.
There is every possibility of separation crack forming in between the different structures that means at the big bottom or side of the column and your wall panel. So how do you solve that problem?
Yeah, actually we use starter bars and other iron pieces. So when we first install the panel on the column, there is we put a small steel rod, and three rods are put, and the three rods, as I told you, the V notch is there. So the three rods and the panel, we again pack it with the concrete. And from the beam to, or from the column to wall, we also have to put the wire mesh and grout. So the step is very important. And that's why in our panel, we are giving panel with both the side step. So to arrest all these types of hair crack which is going to achieve or come afterwards. So that is the difference. And because of that step, when you put the grout, the amount of scheme coat required is very less. Or if the step was not there, then you have to cover it up to that step plus additional scheme coat. So there the difference is. Yeah.
Shah
And both the faces we are putting a wire mesh, not only one face. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yes, it seems to be a good product actually. What is holding back in promotion of this product in market actually? See,
Yeah.
I think the cost comparison wise is coming to be more or less same. The
Yeah.
speed of construction, finishing, everything looks on positive side. So
So-
according to you, what is holding back? See, up 30 years before now, the clay bricks were there, the Ciporex blocks was been again, took too much time. So
Yeah.
how you pursue this product to be?
We are
big
we are
after
now
big market?
approaching lot of people in Pune, as our plant is in Pune. One by way approaching, giving presentation and other things. And I think somebody is from Alemati here. Oh yeah. Okay. So it is a question for both of us why we are not able to sell that one.
I think one component is missing. If you add that component, product will run like square feet cost saving on the
Yeah.
floor area.
So I think the days will come because precast otherwise also is given a stepmotherly treatment. But slowly, it will go good. And I'm really thankful to Campon and ICI for doing these types of seminar. And special thanks to the PPS and other companies, Sabir and all that, so that they are going to promote this more. Once they are convinced, once we show them the proper installation, other things, then only the product will run.
Yeah. Well, another one question. How we are holding from the top side? Actually, from bottom we have got the bars, but on the top side, how we are holding?
Top side, as I told you, that there is a arrestor or a fixing plate. Yeah, just this one, the blue color one.
We are anchoring that plate
Yeah.
to the slab.
So that is going into the core, and then we are anchoring it to the ceiling and the floor. So it is holding from both the ends. So usually floor is very less. You always put it on the top. So if you feel that there is a lot of vibration or other things, every panel you give one fixing plate.
Okay. And if you consider this as a load-bearing wall, up to what story you can go?
When there is a load bearing certain times, what you can do after extruding it, take the hollow core and fill it with concrete and then use it. In that hollow core, you put some rod and concrete and make it a load bearing and use it. You got it? That is a jugaad way.
Actually, this is a very good for the rural,
Yeah,
housing.
yeah.
In rural areas, still there is a lot of time consuming, and so if it has been economical over the load bearing of the traditional way,
Yeah.
so it is a very good option for the rural housing.
So
basically.
as I suggested in rural case, you can even put a bamboo inside, okay, and put a concrete. This is a jugaad I'm telling you, and fill it with concrete. That will become a little bit more load bearing, I would say. Okay.
Good morning, sir. My question
Good morning.
my question is regarding the electrical and plumbing lines which actually
Yeah.
go through this wall.
Yeah.
So most of this wall, as shown in this picture, these are hollow cores.
Yeah.
And what we typically see in electrical designs given is that most of the concealed wiring is coming exactly on each of the other face. So they are not staggered.
Yeah.
So being a hollow core, if we actually do a cutout or do the casing there, so whether it will go through and through because the thickness is less, the junction boxes typically are exactly on the other faces of the wall in the same location.
No, even if you puncture, if the junction box or thing is little smaller in size, if you puncture both the side and you fill it with the concrete very well, then it can work. There is no issue. Now, as far as if you install the whole panel and then you want to introduce your wiring or MEP into it, what you do is you puncture at the top and put the wire and again put with the concrete. So anywhere, anytime, whenever you feel there is a issue of strength or the panel is going to become weak, fill it with concrete. It is hardly any cost comparatively.
So just in case if it is filled with cast and we only have skim coat on top of it, which is of very less thickness,
Yeah,
would it likely to have some sort of surface defects later on in the time?
I don't think so because we are arresting the crack or anything which can develop by putting wire mesh and the grout from both the side.
So it happens for all junction boxes and plumbing lines as well.
There what you do is when you are putting a junction box, again you have to do the same process. If possible, put the wire mesh, put the grout and hold the box with the grout if required. If the concrete is not able to place properly.
Do you have specific thicknesses, extra thicknesses for particularly the wet areas or the washroom walls?
Yeah, as I told you, the thickness you can buy is 75, 100, 120, 140 or 150.
Okay.
So certain wet areas, the whole project for the partition wall, you can do it with 75 mm. And for the wet areas, if you feel that the thickness is less, then you can go for 100 mm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.